Hello and welcome to Rathods IAS. Today in this session, we are going to see current affairs of 14th May 2024. So let's get started with our discussion. So as usual, syllabus copy is important and even previous year's questions are very important to know which topic is important and which topic is irrelevant. So focus on these two before starting your preparation. Then only you will be picking the right articles in the newspaper. Okay, so this is my sincere request. And one more thing is, yesterday and day before yesterday I was out of station. Especially I went to my hometown to cast my vote. Okay, so I prepared the notes also yesterday, but I didn't get the time. Okay, and even I didn't have any setup to record the class yesterday, so that I didn't post. But I will be posting notes of yesterday's class in today's Telegram channel and even Rathods IAS app also. So one request is, please download this Rathods IAS app, because we are going to start daily quiz on current affairs, and also we are going to provide notes in that app only, and even we are going to provide you daily current affairs PDF also. So for that, yes, you have to download app, and the link of that app is given in description box. Clear? Yes, now let's get started without wasting time. And actually near our recording setup, so there is some construction is going on. So sometimes some sounds will come, so please ignore that for today and tomorrow. Okay, so we will be resolving that issue soon. Yes, now let us see the first important article. So this is front page of Delhi edition. So first article is about food inflation. Food inflation scaled 4 months high in April. So what is the keyword here? Keyword is actually inflation. So what is this inflation? This is very important concept, and in your economy there is a high possibility of getting questions from your prelims from inflation. Okay, let us see the dimensions what you have to see from this inflation. Okay, inflation. And this topic is important from your GS paper 3 under economy. So inflation means it is a general tendency whenever there is increasing of prices of goods and services in market. Okay, so this is the simple definition of inflation. So here this article, it is talking about food inflation. So what is this food? Whatever the things that you are consuming, that is called as food, right? So here there is increase in price of food in market, that is called as food inflation. For example, there is increased in vegetable prices, there is increasing of rice price or pulses or oil, like that. So whenever there is increasing of the price of these products, that will automatically leads to food inflation. Clear? And here from basics point of view, you have to understand what exactly is this inflation and types of inflation. So we have 3 types. Okay, but that is demand pull inflation. So because of increase in the demand, there is increasing of price of goods and services. And next one is cost push inflation. Because of increasing of cost of material, raw material, there is increasing of price. That is the second type. And next one is built-in inflation. So because of changing of lifestyle, that will leads to increase in the demand of certain goods. Okay, that is called as built-in inflation. And even you have to see what are the causes of inflation and what are the measures can be taken to control inflation. Especially if you're talking about these measures, we have 2 types of organizations, they will be taking measures. So first one is obviously our Government of India, and next one is we have Central Bank of India, RBI. So what are the measures taken by government? We are calling it as fiscal policy. Okay, it is called as fiscal policy. So what will be there in fiscal policy? So government will be using 2 tools. So first one is tax, whether increasing or decreasing of tax to control inflation market, and next one is increasing or decreasing of public spending. Okay, public spending. So whenever government want to increase money supply, government will be increasing money spending. If government want to decrease money, then government will be decreasing public spending. And even in the same with this taxes also. And next one is RBI. So RBI takes some measures under this policy. That policy is called as monetary policy. So in this monetary policy, there will be increasing or decreasing of interest rates. Okay, for example, it may be repo rate or reverse repo rate, marginal standing facility. Okay, like that. We have different instruments under this monetary policy. So here, not only that, especially you have to see what are the measures can be taken to control this food inflation, because our topic of day is food inflation. So why there is increasing of rise of food? One important reason we can see is because of climate change. So because of climate change, this year we had El Nino. So because of El Nino, it affected rainfall. There is very less rainfall and we have rainfall deficit this year. So that had led to decreasing of agriculture production. And even because of weather, extreme climate events, even it had impact on wheat production in India. And especially there were dry and drought which had been seen, and because of unusual rainfalls in Maharashtra region where there is very high production of onion happened, so that production of onion had been affected by this erratic rainfall. So like that here, because of climate change and weather patterns, yes, there is impact. And because of low rainfall, there is very low groundwater recharge also. That is also impacting this food. And even because of stock marketing, okay, marketing of these goods like food items, and even because of what? Black marketing or hoarding. Because of hoarding, that will create artificial demand in the market, that will also leads to increasing of food prices. So to control that black marketing and hoarding, we have Essential Commodities Act. Okay, and even if you see the recent steps taken by government, so government banned export of rice, government banned export of onions to other countries, and recently it had removed the ban on export of onions. And even if you see oil, so we are importing oil from other countries, and because of this geopolitical scenario like Russia-Ukraine crisis, and even because of Israel-Palestine issue which is affecting the supply chain, that is transportation routes, and because of this Houthis, they are attacking these merchant vessels in this region. What happened here is it is very difficult to bring oil to India through this route, and even what are the goods that you are getting from this route, so they had to be diverted. So this is also one important reason that increases the cost of transportation. So whenever the increasing of cost of transportation and overall goods and services cost will be also increased, right? That is also one important reason. So these all are the dimensions that you have to see, and especially you have to focus on what are the measures can be taken to cool or to decrease this food inflation, because food inflation will be having very bad impact on economy. Okay, it will be having very bad impact, and it will also leads to increasing of poverty, increasing of hunger, increasing of malnutrition, and increasing of government expenditure. Okay, so like that there will be lots of things which are connected with this food inflation. So government need to take urgent measures to control this, right? So now let us see this article in detail. I hope you understood like how you have to read articles. So if you have understand, like if you are taking one topic, so how you have to connect with the different dimensions. So please do hit the like button and do share this video to your friends and your well-beings, and even please give Google review and rating about this Rathods IAS Academy. Don't forget, okay? And why it is in news? As usual, so Indian consumers, they faced a further acceleration in steep food prices. There is increasing of food prices in month of April. even as overall retail inflation rate remained virtually unchanged at 4.3%, 4.83%. So actually what is inflation rate that to be maintained? So inflation rate is 4 plus or minus 2%. That means it should be between 2 to 6%. So what is inflation rate now? That is 4.83. That means it is within the limits. So even though overall inflation which is in the limits, so food inflation is very high. That is the thing which mainly said. So what is this food inflation? So food inflation, which is mainly measured by which organization? That you have to know. So which is the index which says about this food inflation? So we have consumer price index. Okay, so we have this consumer price index for food and beverages, and this CPI, which is a key measure of inflation in India, and this CPI which tracks changes in the prices, okay, which are paid by typical consumers for a basket of goods and services over a period of time. And how India can address this food inflation? Yes, you have to know these measures, and these measures are very important from your mains point of view. If you want, you can make the note of side headings. So if you remember the side headings, then you can expand it in examination easily. But whenever we are providing any data, try to note that data. That will be useful for your essay and even in your value addition of your mains answer. Okay, let's come back and let us see first measure. That is, we can focus on increasing of agriculture productivity. So whenever there is increasing of agriculture productivity, that means there is increasing of our produce. Then what happen? Availability in market will be increased. So whenever goods availability in market is increased, then it will be also access to the people within affordable price, so that we can control inflation. So to increase this produce or productivity, what we can do? So we can invest on agriculture, like we can increase infrastructure, we can focus on technology and research on crop yields, and we have to decrease production cost, and even we have to focus on supply chain, and finally we have to stabilize the prices in market. So this is the first thing. And next one is we can focus on efficient supply chain management. We can focus on enhancing of logistics, storage facilities, distribution networks, and we can reduce wastage and ensure steady supply of food items to the market. And we have to mitigate price fluctuations so that we can constantly maintain price stability. And next one is diversification of agriculture. So we have to promote cultivation of different types of crops, so that we can make availability of different kinds of produce which is available in the market, right? And we can also support alternative farming practices, so that we can reduce reliability on a single commodity, so that we can balance market dynamics. And next one is price monitoring and regulation. So monitoring of food prices is very important. So government need to take some steps to maintain effective price regulation mechanism, so that we can prevent price manipulation, and also we can ensure fair pricing for consumers and producers. And next one is we can focus on climate resilience. So we have to address climate change challenges through sustainable farming practices. We can focus on water management, crop diversification, and also we can reduce production risk and enhance food security in the long term. And I want to give you one mains question, students, based on this topic. So try to answer this question and try to write something. So question is, what are the key factors? The first one is, what are the key factors during India's deglobalized food inflation trend? And next one is, what are the strategies can be implemented to address this disparity in the context of Indian country's economy? So here in introduction you can write about what is this food inflation, and next one is keep heading like key factors, and third one is strategies, and finally write the conclusion. So in this way you can address this question. And let us move on to our Delhi page. So here you can see one image. So this image is about massive dust storm, and this dust storm, it is the very important topic in your geography, and you have to know what is this, what will be the negative impact. because there may be a chance of getting this question in your disaster management or from your geography point of view, from both prelims and mains. So let us try to understand what is this dust storm. Okay, so it is important from your disaster management and even your geography. So what is this dust storm? So dust storm or sandstorms, they are meteorological phenomena, and they are characterized what they will be having. So they will be having strong and turbulent winds, and this strong and turbulent winds, so they will lift small particles to very great heights. For example, sand or dust which is present on the surface of the soil. And they are known to have adverse impact on human health, because whenever this dust which is entering into our eyes, so they will be irritating our eyes. Eyes will become red, sometimes inflammation, and you will be getting tears, etc. And if that same dust which is entering into your respiratory tract, you will be getting COPD or asthma, like that. Okay, and even it will be having negative impact on our ears, okay, listening system, everything, right? So here it is also having negative impact on human health, and even on the environment also it is impact. So negative impact there will be on even environment, because on environment it is interaction between we and surroundings. So how we are interacting with our surroundings, water, air, and even animals. So this environment which contains biosphere, right? Like not only humans but different animals are present. So on them what will be the impact? And next one is, because of this dust storm, even there will be negative impact on economy. So why? Because if there is any dust storm, so it will be affecting transportation. Yes or no? So whenever this transportation had been stalled, means it will be great loss, and even it will be having impact on telecommunications. Again there will be negative impact. Yes or no? So in that way, so because of this dust storm, so there will be adverse impacts on human health, environment, and economies. And they are typically created by thunderstorms or strong pressure gradients. So they are normally associated with phenomena called as cyclones. Okay, because it will be boosting the wind speed across a wide area. And even because of this dust storms, it also causes wind erosion, and it produces 40% of aerosols in the troposphere. Okay, if you study this at atmosphere and different layers, we have troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, ionosphere, right? So troposphere, which is the lowest layer of our atmosphere. So in this lowest layer, so 40% of aerosols are formed because of this dust storms. So what are the negative impacts? Can you please tell me? Yes, so negative impacts are dust and this storms, they decrease the yields of productivity. So what happens here is, for example, if you say this is as a leaf, so leaf is very important. Why? Because we have chlorophyll or chloroplast, and these leaves, they will be receiving sunlight, and with the help of stomata there will be gaseous exchange will happen, and this leaves where this photosynthesis will happen. For example, on this leaf, if there is any dust particles which is deposited, means what happened? The ability to receive sunlight will be decreased, and sometimes this stomata will be blocked by this dust. There will be no gaseous exchange, there is no food production. So because of this, it is affecting even the productivity of agriculture. There will be decreasing of productivity of agriculture. And next one is trees, pastures, and livestock productivity will be also decreased. And many of these impacts, they have not yet been well quantified according to FAO report. So this is also one drawback. And next one is here, sand and dust storms that last for 2 days in this mid-March 2021. So recently in 2021 also we had this dust storm. So because of that dust storm, there was a large impact that is seen, like an estimate of 8,000 people in 2,000 households across 14 of Mongolia's 21 provinces, they have been affected, and even 10 people lost their life, and 1.6 million livestock, they were reported missing because of these dust storms. Okay, and now I want to give you one main question, so try to write an answer for this as well. Sand and dust storms, they have become interestingly prevalent across various regions. They are posing environmental, health and social economic challenges. So this is a statement which is given, and you have to examine this statement and you have to write what are the factors. The first part here is you have to explain what are the factors contributing to occurrence of the sand and dust storms. And next one is you have to discuss, second part is impacts on ecosystem, agriculture and human health. Okay, so this is the question and I explained each and every part of this question. So try to write an answer for this. Okay, don't worry. So if you are not getting points, so please let me know so that I will be giving you the detailed answer as well. Okay, so this is the next topic and let us move on to Delhi page. So because of elections, so most of the articles are political articles. So leave them, don't worry. And you can directly move on to this editorial page. Okay, so in editorial page I found some articles which are very important, and even the states page also there is nothing much important today. Directly we'll move on to editorial page. Okay, so this is editorial page and the first one is about stabilizing India-Nepal ties in changing times. So actually what happened? So between India and Nepal, so there is low relations which are going time. So with this time here you can see like all time low relations with this Nepal because of boundary. So again with this Nepal and India also there is issue which is going on regarding boundary. So Nepal is claiming some regions like Lipu Lake, Limpiadura, okay, regions. But India is saying that no, they are not part of Nepal, they are part of India. But recently one aggressive step taken by Nepal was in its currency note it had included this Lipu Lake, Limpiadura and Kalapani regions into its territory. And even it had been opposed by some of the ministers of Nepal. But here Nepal president or Nepal prime minister is not listening and he included those regions. Okay, so because of this the issue is going on, and here we have to see what is that issue, so why everything. So actually Nepal is a very small country, it is a landlocked country and mostly it is dependent on India. But nowadays it is moving towards China and this is like a shadow film which is running by China. Okay, so this is the thing that you have to remember. And here you have to see India-Nepal map and which are the states sharing boundary with Nepal. So there is a high chance of getting question regarding this in your prelims. Okay, now let us see this article in detail. So why it is a news? Recently Nepal announced printing of a new 100 rupees note. Okay, 100 currency note. And they came up with a map, and this map is including India's 3 territories. First one is Lipu Lake, second one is Limpiadura and next one is Kalapani region. So Nepal government has authorized the Nepal Rashtra Bank to replace current map with updated version of currency note. So because of this issue which is going on. And actually if you see these 3 regions, first one is Lipu Lake, second one is Kalapan and third one is Limpiadura. So which India earlier had included in its November 2019 map. So this issue which is going on from 2019. So in 2019 Nepal came up with its new map. In that new map it included these 3 areas. Okay, and now here government of Nepal ordered bank, so the central bank of Nepal, to include new map, okay, in their currency note. So here because of this tensions between New Delhi and Kathmandu is capital of Nepal, emerged after Nepal issued a political map in May 2020 which included the same territories. And later on if you see the relations, diplomatic relations, they came under future strain when Nepal handed over diplomatic note to India which is objecting to inauguration of road linking Kailash Mansarovar via Lipu Lake in 2020. So actually here Nepal which is not accepting our project of Kailash Mansarovar Lake we are connecting with this via Lipu Lake. But Nepal is saying that how can you go with this Lipu Lake? So Lipu Lake is our territory. So like that, there is issue which is going on between this India and Nepal. And even India's Minister of External Affairs had responded to this Nepal's objection, stating that road passing through this Uttarakhand's Pithoragarh district fell entirely in Indian territory. But how Nepal is interfering? Because we are not entering into Nepal territory, we are not affecting territorial integrity or sovereignty of Nepal. So this is a thing which mainly said by our Indian External Affairs Minister. And Nepal had asserted its claim based on the Sugali Treaty of 1816. So here you can expect a question like, recently Treaty of Sugali of 1916 is in news. It is related to India-Nepal boundary. So according to this Sugali Treaty, all territories east of this Kali, that is Mahakali river, including Limpiadura, Kalapan and Lipu Lake, they belongs to Nepal. So here what happens whenever we are saying or keeping any river as a boundary means, so river will be changing the course. Okay, it may move like this, it may move like this, it may change the course, right? So because of this, it will lead to the disputes between the countries. Okay, and now if you move on here, this Sugali Treaty, when it was signed on 4th March 1816 between East India Company and as well as Guru Gajraj Mishra. Okay, so after this Anglo-Nepalese War of 1814 to 1816, so this treaty had been signed. India, however, has stated that in 1950, Treaty of Peace and Friendship between India and Nepal, so it had been annulled, this Sugali Treaty. And Nepal's argue that treaties of such as 1923, that is Nepal-British Treaty of Friendship, reaffirmed its sovereignty during the era of British rule. Okay, Nepal says that no, we will be following this 1923 Nepal-British Treaty. So this is about this topic. And now let us move on to next article in the same page, that is about adopting and transformative vision for mediation. So this article is very important. I will give you dimensions. So this article, it is about alternate dispute resolution. Okay, that is nothing but ADR. So one such example of alternate dispute resolution mechanism is mediation. So here you have to understand what is this alternate dispute resolution mechanism and why we need this alternate dispute resolution mechanism, and you have to see examples and why we need this, or what is the impact or significance. And apart from that, here we are going to focus on mediation. You have to see what is mediation, what are the advantages, disadvantages and significance. And this mediation you can expect as a mains question from 10 marker or 15 marker for sure. Okay, now let us see this article in detail. Okay, so first of all, what is this mediation? So mediation, it is a voluntary process. So it is a voluntary process in which parties, they try to settle disputes. So what happens? So parties, they will try to settle their disputes with assistance of an independent third person. So with the help of independent third person, whenever there is resolution of dispute, so we are calling it as mediation. So normally in villages, in families, if there is any quarrel or dispute, we will be seeing this mediation commonly. So it does not impose a solution on the parties, but it creates a conducive environment in which they can resolve their disputes. Okay, they will be providing some environment so that it will be helpful for resolving of the disputes. So mediation process depends upon the choice of parties. Okay, and even one thing you have to remember is there is no strict or binding rules of this procedure. So it is also one important thing. So in India, mediation was legalized by Civil Procedure Code, and we have one section, section 89, before enactment of this Mediation Act of 2023. But now we have this Mediation Act, which is going to regulate this ADR mechanism, that is mediation. And if you are talking about types of mediation, we have two types of mediation. So first one is mediation referred by the court. First one is mediation referred by the court. So a judge or the court may refer a case to mediation either at a request of one parties or at the court's own discretion. So court can use its own discretion, that is its own power. And next one is, or if there is any request from the parties, so they can go for mediation. And next one is private mediation. So in this process, parties they involve disputes, they voluntarily choose to engage a neutral third party. Okay, and that third party is known as mediator to assist them, to help them in resolving their issues. And what are the issues of this mediation? First one is mandatory mediation. So mandatory mediation raises questions whether we can go for this mediation compulsory or not. So here, because of this, it also raises questions about seriousness of the parties' participation. And next one is, there is also violation of fundamental rights. So according to Article 21 of the Constitution of India, access to justice is a fundamental right. So if you want to get justice, yes, you have to, that is your fundamental right, right? So here, because of this, here Article 21 says this access to justice is your fundamental right. So here mandating pre-litigation is violation of its right. And next one is Mediation Council of India. So Mediation of Council of India, which can issue regulations, that too after approval of central government. So it is also affecting its autonomy and as well as authority. And next one is, in this mediation process, there is shortage of skilled mediators. There are limited pool of trained mediators and experienced mediators in India. So it is also one issue. And next one is social perceptions. So in certain instances, individuals may be reluctant to consider mediation because of there are some concerns regarding societal perceptions, and they may fear that opting for mediation that could be interpreted as a sign of vulnerability or willingness to compromise. And next, I want to take articles from text and context. So there are two articles in our text and context that are important. So first one, it is about smart cities mission, and whenever you are seeing any scheme in news, you have to see different dimensions. So I will let you know about the dimensions of schemes. So I am talking here generally, I am not taking especially a smart cities mission here. So in generally, if you are seeing any schemes, because in yesterday's newspaper there are around 3 schemes they talked about. So first one, it is about Vibrant Village scheme, and next one it is about Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban and Rural. And there was one more scheme which was said in our yesterday's newspaper. So because of this, I am taking this as a general. Like if you see any scheme, you have to see what are the features of this scheme and aims and objectives of the scheme. And you have to see under which ministry it comes under and which type of scheme. It is central sector or centrally sponsored scheme. And next one is, what are the advantages or what is the success of this scheme, and is there any challenges or issues regarding this scheme. Okay, so these are the dimensions that you have to see, and for sure you can expect 2 schemes, okay, in your prelims. Okay, in your prelims you can get 2 questions from at least 2 to 3 schemes every year. So this is like a very good opportunity to clear your prelims. Yeah, now let us see this topic in detail. So why it is in news? So here smart cities, they were defined by urban practitioners as a new Silicon Valleys. Because smart cities means normally people will be believing that they are going to get new Silicon Valleys built with a strong integration of network of airports. We will be having smart highways, and even we are having good ways of communication. Okay, so called as intellectual city with advanced information communication technology. So this is a perception which is mainly seen in the people about the smart cities. So if you see some facts regarding the smart cities mission, so when it was launched in year 2015 in June, and this scheme which is focusing on promoting of cities that offer core infrastructure, and they should focus on clean and sustainable environment and decent quality of life through smart solutions. So if we're talking about the smart cities mission success stories, there are 3 which are given here. So whenever you're talking about any scheme, please do research regarding what is the success of that so mission. So first one is Project Ahmedabad. So in this Project Ahmedabad, government came up with sensor-based monitoring of water network. So because of this, we able to provide additional water supply of 15 million liters a day by detecting the leakages. So we can detect the leakages and we can minimize the leakages with that ICT. And next one is Project Indoor. So under this project, we prevented 205 MLD of untreated sewage from entering this Khan River. So we are focusing on decreasing of pollution in this Khan River by stopping the leakage or by stopping the releasing of this untreated sewage. Okay, not only Khan River, even Saraswati River. Next one is the project of Vishakhapatnam. So under this project, Mudra Sarlova Reservoir floating solar plant that led to annual electricity generation of around 3,600 megawatts and saved around $0.28 million. Okay, so this project which prevented emissions of over 3,000 tons of carbon dioxide. So in this way we have like very good success of the smart cities mission. But even though we are facing some challenges, so first one is we have mission deadline extension. So what is this mission deadline extension? So smart cities mission supposed to conclude by June 2023, but it was extended till June 2024 to finish pending projects. And next one is funding challenges. Lakshadweep, Daman and Diu, Puducherry, Port Blair, they received less than 50% of pledged central funds. Okay, but what are the funds you are getting? It is very less. And next one is there is failure in fundraising mechanism. So actually whatever the funds we are raising, so we will be raising through 2 methods. So first one is public-private partnership and second one is through loans. But with this public-private partnership, what is the amount that we raised? Just 6% of smart mission projects funds they had been raised. But recommended here is 21% at least, but we can't reach that. And next one is loans. So proposed like 5% of funding through loans had been not met. For example, in those areas like Bhopal, Hubli and Kochi, Vishakhapatnam, Chandigarh and Srinagar regions, so we had a very less amount of loans. And not only this, even execution of this project is also one important challenge. So recently one report which highlights that there was a lack of robust mechanism to ensure coordination and smooth harmonizing monitoring as well. And next one here is absence of master plans. So what are the plans we are having? So they are not focusing on exact implementation and getting as much as possible goodness like that. So we had failed in this master plan. Okay. And next article in the same text and context is about live-in relationship. So what is a legal position? Okay, in live-in relationship nowadays, because of foreign culture and because of cultural contact, okay, so live-in relationship had been increased in India. So will you accept it or not? Okay, so please let me know your opinion regarding this live-in relationship in comment box. So what is the legal position of this live-in relationship in India? So first one is recently why it's in news because of Lucknow bench of Allahabad High Court stated that this month a Muslim cannot claim rights in a living relationship when they have a living spouse. Okay, for example, there is a couple. Okay, so this couple is having a spouse who is living, but this couple is having a living relationship with another person. Okay, and they went to court. So now court said that this so and so person, they cannot claim rights in this living relationship because this so and so person have a living spouse. That is the thing which mainly said. So what are the factors which are leading to the increasing of this live-in relationship in India? So first one is because of social change, because of globalization, because of urbanization, and because of increasing of cosmopolitan values like city culture, etc. So young generation, they are accepting or going for premarital sexual relationship. That means before marriage you are committing with this sexual relations, and not only this, even there is increased trend of live-in relationship. So individual autonomy and freedom of choice that have led to a desire of live-in relationship, because freedom of choice which comes as a fundamental right, yes or no? So because of this there is increasing of desire of this live-in relationship now, especially in contrast to historically prevalent arranged marriages and even societal expectations. So there is changing trend that is happening in this present generation, and even there is no proper emotional connection, communication, compassion and compatibility, and even reducing of sanctity, that is sanctity of entire institution of marriage. So it is ultimate symbol of commitment. So here we know that marriage, it is like a big institution, and even nowadays there is decreasing of sanctity of this marriage because of changing of culture, because of westernization, modernization, etc. That is the thing which mainly said. And next one is this live-in relationship which provides a way to test domestic compatibility before marriage, and even addressing concerns about restrict to a burdensome marriage process. So here because of this nowadays there is increasing of live-in relationship. So this article is saying that recently Punjab and Haryana High Court stated that a couple living together without obtaining a divorce from their previous spouse, they cannot be classified as being in living relationship or being in a union similar to marriage. Okay, so if they are not getting divorce, means they will be not coming under this living relationship. And India does not have any laws. It is a problem. India does not have any laws that directly address this live-in partnership relation. And now let us move back to our Hindu page. So here in opinion page there is one article. It is talking about declining of poverty ratio, a continuing trend. So this article is talking about household consumption survey for 2022 to 2023, and this survey had been released by National Sample Survey Office. So this report which is saying about the estimation of poverty and as well as inequality trends, and here this article is giving some data, and we are going to see this data in tomorrow's class for sure. And you can move on to this text and context. I discussed about the smart cities mission, and I discussed about this live-in relationship. And now let us move on to our news page. So in this news page I saw one article which is very important, and even there is also, you may expect question from this Chabahar port in your prelims. So title says India-Iran signed Chabahar port operation pact. So there are many dimensions you have to know. So you have to know about India-Iran relations and why there is decreasing of relations now, and what is this JCPOA or Iran's nuclear deal, and what is this Chabahar port. If you want to know this Chabahar port, you have to know the history of Gwadar port. So Gwadar port is present in Pakistan, and Pakistan is not allowing India to have access to this Gwadar port. So to counter this Gwadar port, India is developing this Iran's Chabahar port to reach Afghanistan. Okay, so this is the background story. And now let us see about some facts regarding this Chabahar port. Clear? So why it is in news? First let me read about why it is in news. So 8 years after concluding this framework of cooperation, so it had been 8 years we had agreement with Iran regarding access to this Chabahar port, and recently India and Iran, they signed a 10-year contract for this operation. So because of this is the news. And Chabahar, it is Iran's only oceanic port. It is very important. Chabahar is India's only oceanic port. And in your prelim statements, if you see these extreme words like all, any, only, be cautious. And here you have to be very much cautious. Like Chabahar port is Iran's only oceanic port. This is a correct statement. And it is situated in Sistan and Balochistan province. It is also very important. And there are two ports in this Chabahar. The first one is Shahes Kantantari port, and next one is Sahid Bahesti port. And this Kalantari port, which has been developed in 1980s itself, and Iran offered India the project of developing this Sahid Bahesti port. It is very important. And why we are focusing on this Chabahar port? So what is the importance? So why we need to increase our investment here? So first one is, it is acting as an alternate trade route. So India's access to Afghanistan and Central Asia, which has been largely dependent on transit routes through Pakistan. Okay, to bypass this Pakistan, we want this Chabahar port to access Middle East or like Afghanistan. And this one is Chabahar port, which offers alternative route to bypass Pakistan, that I said. And even Chabahar port will be boosting India's access to Iran, and even Iran, which is acting as a gate for international north-south transport corridor, which is having sea route, rail route and road routes. So this international north-south transport corridor, which is between how many countries? So we have one Iran, next one is India. Okay, one Iran, next one is India, Russia, Central Asia and as well as Europe. And what are the economic benefits of this Chabahar port, which also offers economic benefits because we can have access to the countries which are rich in resources and economically vibrant region of Central Asia, and even it can significantly enhance India's trade and investment opportunities in these markets, and that will also lead to economic growth and job creation in India, and even it will be providing humanitarian assistance. So Chabahar port, it can serve as a crucial entry point for humanitarian assistance and even reconstruction efforts in Afghanistan. And India can use port to provide aids, infrastructure development support and even other assistance to Afghanistan, and that will contribute to regional stability. And next one is, it is also having impact on strategic influence, because by developing and by increasing the operation of this Chabahar port, India can enhance its influence in Indian Ocean region, and even it will be strengthening India's geopolitical position as well. So these are some advantages of this Chabahar port. And now let us see map of this Chabahar port, where exactly is located. So this is our country India, and as I said, so this light green color is Pakistan, and here we have Gwadar port that I said. So if you want to reach to Afghanistan, so Afghanistan is having boundary with India on map, but this region which comes under this Pak occupied Kashmir region, right? So if you want to reach this Afghanistan, Pakistan is not allowing us to use this airspace, road or any land. So we will be moving from Mumbai to Chabahar port here, and from Chabahar port through railways and roadways we are getting access to Afghanistan. That means to bypass Pakistan we need this. Okay, so these are some important points that you have to see from this article point of view. And now let us move on to our page and leave this election page. It is not at all useful. And this business page, you can see one article that is about 50% critical minerals block auctions near closure. So here you have to know what are these critical minerals, and there is a high chance of getting question regarding critical minerals in your prelims. So focus on that topic also. So these are the very important articles that appeared in our today's Hindu newspaper, and I will be posting yesterday's class notes for sure, okay, in Telegram channel or like in app also. So visit that and you can get access to that yesterday's notes. And in yesterday's class, most of the articles are based on schemes. I gave like detailed notes regarding that. So I made the notes yesterday itself, but time had not permitted me to record the class. Okay, so please excuse me for that. So by this I'm concluding. I hope you enjoyed this class. If you really like this class, hit the like button and don't forget to download the app. The link is given in description. And do like, share and subscribe to Rathods IAS Academy. And one more thing is, tomorrow we are conducting free prelims grand test, and as I said, there are 5 GS and 2 CSAT. Okay, so you can take that for free, but in app it is not allowing us to provide free, so that we kept price of 9 rupees for that. So pay this 9 rupees and you can write 5 GS full length plus 2 CSAT. Okay, do this, and I am giving the link of app in the description box. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching.